welcome to Take Me Through Your Day. On this episode, we have an electrical mechanical technician, and there's a lot of really good information in here for anyone that wants to get into this field, especially some entry-level stuff that I know that people really like to hear about. There is a fair bit of beeping out of stuff in this, and I try not to do that as much as possible, because I know it's very annoying, but to keep everyone's anonymity, I like to do that. But I felt just cutting things out kind of ruined the narrative, so I left it in. Sorry, my apologies. Try to keep it to a minimum. So, if you or anyone you know would like to be on the show, you can contact us at TakeMeTYD on all social media and TakeMeTYD@gmail.com. Enjoy the show. So what do you do now?
Currently, I'm a electrical mechanical technician.
Electrical mechanical technician.
Yes.
Okay.
Very fancy title.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go back just because I've known you for so long. Let's start from the beginning. In high school, did you know what you wanted to do?
No.
Okay. So what's the? Hold on, I gotta put this drink somewhere else. What was the thought?
What I wanted to do?
I'll wait till you get back over here.
I didn't really have an idea in high school. I thought I was gonna play, I don't know, football or something, until I got injured.
So you got injured playing football, and that kind of took that
Well, I
on the
wanted to
cards.
kind of do marketing, I guess.
Marketing?
Yes.
So you get out of high school, no plan per se.
Yeah, no concrete plan.
Okay, but you go to college.
Yes.
Okay, what do you go to college for?
I get a liberal arts degree in marketing.
Liberal arts degree in marketing.
Yes.
So what's the plan? What got you on that? What got you from football to marketing?
It's pretty. I guess I was always told I was creative because
Right.
I did all the advertising for the pizza shop.
Well, that was
I
later.
used to
That's-
draw. I used to, I don't know, come up with advertising ideas. Like I did some of my mom's pizza shop's ads and stuff. So I had a little bit of marketing ideas, I guess.
Okay, so you kind of just got the bug from that, just working with your mom's place. And,
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
and this was, back in the day, this was a chain? Or was she not involved in the chain yet?
Yeah. No, she was a chain. It was a chain when she started.
Okay, but they still let you do marketing and stuff like that? It wasn't like corporate run, by the books kind
At that time, you could do your own marketing per store.
And this was kind of like the ads to bring people in?
They had
or
like
just...
two type of marketing. You had your regional marketing, which they paid a royalty for, and then you had your district marketing, which you did on your own.
All right.
So like the regional would have been like TV, radio, stuff like that. And then you did your own Penny Saver, Advo, Valpak, Clipper.
Wherever you could get some local eyeballs.
Yeah. So you get your own local people, yeah.
Okay, so that's going on. You're in college. Marketing just seems to make sense at that point.
Well, I started at it. I think I started in economics. My first couple classes was in economics. I was doing pretty good in there, but it was like, man, this is boring. I don't want to deal with this. And then somebody said, why don't you get in accounting? I took a couple accounting
classes. Oh, you think
classes.
that's boring? How
and
about
that
you
was
try
boring.
accounting?
Yeah. So I'm like, I can't do either of these. And then that just kind of went right back into marketing. Because once you bounce from them two, you got management, marketing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like, I already manage a place, so we'll try this marketing.
All right, that seems to work. The route through college. Now, did you graduate?
Yes.
Okay, so it was basically marketing the whole way through.
Well, with the liberal arts degree, I took multiple other classes.
Well, I mean, you could touch
Yeah,
on that a little bit,
yeah.
but I was...
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
It was a business goal the whole way.
Okay.
Business degree.
It's a business degree.
Yes.
Okay. What makes it a liberal arts thing? Sorry, I'm not as well versed in college as
Well,
I should be.
I had to take other classes besides business.
Yeah.
So I took like chemistry and I'm trying to think what else. else there was? Psychology, all the ologies, any ology you can think of I had to take. And then after 2 years, you apply to the business school, and then you get your business part.
Okay. Did you follow through and do that?
Yes.
Okay. And then you graduate, and then what's the thought? What's the move? What are you doing?
Well, see, I came out in a bad year. I came out when 9/11 happened.
Okay, yeah.
So they had Oscar Mayer Wiener was hiring, and they were going to hire a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. Well, then 9/11 happened, and all marketing just everyone quit advertising.
We can't sell hot dogs because of 9/11.
I don't know, just people quit advertising. I don't.
Okay, I'm sure there's something behind that. That's very curious.
Saving their money, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the economy will happen. So, no one's hiring. Now, what do you do?
Well, I went back to my mom's shop, and that's where I continued on for, I think I was there for about 10 years.
Managing a pizza shop?
Well, not at first. She wasn't full owner at first.
Oh, I didn't know.
She owned just a couple percentages. There was I want to say there was 8 people. And then as the years went on, people were selling out. She just kept buying up the people selling out. And then she became majority owner. And the other guy, I think he ended with 20%. So it was like 80-20 at the end.
All right.
Her and him.
Yeah.
But at first it was 8 people, and she was general manager. She didn't own, but she ran the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you doing? You're not managing? What are you doing?
Like cooking the food and running deliveries and
everything
else.
Basically everything.
Yeah, pretty much. Not ordering food and all that, but everything else besides that.
Okay. So you're there for 10 years?
I started in 94, 8 years. Stopped in 2002.
Okay. So 2002, out of college, done with your mom's shop. What's the thought process? What are you doing? What's the idea?
I went looking for marketing jobs. Landed into Sears.
Okay.
I was inventory and pricing lead of Sears and Wilkins for about a year. And that's not really what I thought marketing was going to be, but I guess in a way it was.
Can you give me just like a general idea what that job was?
I did all the discounts, signage, lay out how the product would look in the store, like they call them planograms.
Now this is you physically doing the planning, or you're actually in the store making all the changes? Or is that like
the corporation of Sears had like a book. This is what we want you to do. You follow it, and then you had to know how to read the book and set it up.
Okay.
So it wasn't me personally making the ideas, no.
You're just kind of delegating what's in the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the corporate office, yeah. Anyone could have done it pretty much. You didn't have to have a degree for it.
And relatively boring gig, I assume?
Well, I became, in that store, I was kind of like third top manager.
All right.
So since I was pricing and inventory, I ran, this is what made me third in power, because pricing and inventory is the whole store.
Yeah.
Where other managers were just a certain department. So I could come in your department and tell you what I need and what I need you to do, where you couldn't tell me.
Yeah. So you're essentially a step up.
I was, higher than the floor managers.
Okay. That's good. Did it at least pay well?
At that time, it was so. It was like $11.75 an hour at 2002.
Okay,
I'm gonna say minimum wage was $5.25 then, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, I think it was back then.
Or maybe it's $4.75 or something.
Somewhere in there, somewhere in 4 to 5.
I mean, I know it didn't double minimum wage.
Yeah, it didn't hit 7 until like 08 or 09. Was that right?
I want to say mid 2000. Like
all right, so you're there for a year.
Yes.
Now you just had it, or you're looking for
I
a way
worked
out?
there and my mom's shop.
Okay, you're doing both.
Yeah.
You doing full time at either?
Pretty much full time at both.
Well, okay. So you're really, really working there.
Yeah.
All right. So you're on your way out. Do you quit? Are you fired? Are you looking for a way out? How does that happen?
I left on my own. We came across a pizza shop in Monroeville, and I guess the guy lost his corporate contract
Hmm.
with another company.
Yeah.
Can you say names of that? I guess
I
it
mean, we
said
can.
Sears, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, he lost Fox's
Okay.
because he was delivering out of his area.
Mm.
So they pulled his contract, took his name. He renamed it the same old pizza shop.
That's what it was called. The same old pizza shop.
Yeah, the same old pizza shop.
Great.
He ran it on 2 cricket phones with 2 different numbers.
Uh-huh.
He advertised those 2 numbers. So, I don't know, we got word of it through my mom's shop. And she said, well, why don't you be your own boss and we can go buy this pizza shop.
And this is you and your brother at this time, or is it just you?
It was just me involved at first. Well, I got a little bit of heat because when they changed the name to Vocelli's from Pizza Outlet, they were saying I signed a non-compete.
Uh-huh.
But I never signed anything. My mom signed. That's why my mom was never involved into this other shop.
Uh-huh.
So they kind of brought a little bit of legal issues with that, which that fell through real quick once they found out there was no paperwork on that.
Yeah.
So then...
and I heard the real slimy like that. There's a lot of that with Vocelli's, right?
Yes, they have many lawsuits out there. I'm not going to go through all those.
No, we don't need to get into it. It's something
We were actually involved in one with them.
Currently?
Currently? No, we ended.
Okay.
It took like 6 years.
Jesus.
It was over the name change.
Mm.
So while we were looking at this shop, my mom's boyfriend, who's an accountant, actually I guess kind of knew this guy somehow, and he had some people in the running, but I'm not sure why he picked us. But he sold us the shop. I want to say for I think it was $30,000.
Okay.
I think my brother had different numbers, but I remember 30,000.
Well, that's what I mean. We're digging into the past, so nobody needs accurate
But I mean,
numbers.
I was just going through. I was working Sears in my mom's shop, and we were trying to buy this, and she had a bar on the side, so I was kind of like helping her run that a little bit. That was in Verona, so I mean, I was in Turtle Creek, Verona, Monroeville, bouncing around a lot. So,
Yeah.
So we buy this shop off this guy. Now the agreement was he would provide us credit cards, like a terminal.
Yeah.
That he said he had, a phone number, which he said he had, and I think there was one other stipulation. I forget what the third one was. It was real minor. Well, he didn't do any of the 3 things he said he was going to do, so we stopped paying him. We paid him the first half, and he took us to court. Of course, we won because he didn't hold up his contract, and they said, well, that's more than... I think it equaled out to that's what his equipment was worth, was $15,000.
That sounds about right.
So they're like, you got it at market value then. You
All
didn't
right.
pay him extra because of the name or anything.
So it
Which
worked
didn't, the name wasn't worth anything anyway.
Yeah, this was same old, or
Same old pizza shop. 2 cricket cell phones, that's what you had.
2 cricket cell phones. Okay, so I guess we can get into that a little bit because we already had an episode talking about this exact pizza shop.
Yes.
So let's get your perspective
The
on
perspective behind it. So the owner of the pizza shop we had, he was a marketing person of Vocelli's.
Uh-huh.
Well, we were kind of the outside Vocelli people. We weren't a family member. We weren't a cousin. So they kind of watched us big time, and he kind of knew who we were.
Uh-huh.
And then he got word that we were buying this pizza shop. So as soon as he got word, they let go of him at Vocelli's. They told him he didn't know what he was doing and all that.
Yeah.
So then his mom's shop, like all the people he knew, left Vocelli's.
Yeah.
So that's how he started his corporation. That his mom left, his cousin left, his uncle left. So he started out 4 pizza shops in a corporation right off the bat.
Okay.
Well, once he knew I was leaving, I guess he thought my mom was leaving as well. So he's, you gotta buy a pizza shop. You should open it up. And we already got 4 stores. We're gonna have 20, and by when did he tell me he was gonna have 20? By like 2015 or something. We'll have 20 stores, locations. I'm like, okay, we'll jump on this. And I was like, well, I don't want to pay high royalties like they do at that other place. And he finally agreed to his 5% royalties.
Okay.
Okay, that was, and we were our title, or some kind of title of business, where we had to only have his sauce, his dough, and name.
Okay, now just to back up for 1 second, what is the perk of getting involved with something like that? It's essentially just starting up itself. Like you got 5 stores or whatever, as opposed to buying a franchise of something larger. Like what was the reasoning that you would jump with them as opposed to opening you guys' own place with its own name, and you could make your own dough?
So eventually, the name, if he would have grew to 20 stores, everyone would hear the name. If you're just a mom and pops,
yeah,
it's harder for people to know who you are.
So it's the gamble of being bigger later.
And eventually, if the corporation grows, you sell the name.
Yeah.
So you get a price for your equipment, then you charge so much for the name. Mm-hmm. Like we looked into opening it up as a Pizza Hut. Yeah. Okay, but the Pizza Hut name itself was $100,000.
Jesus.
Before equipment.
But I mean that makes sense though, because they're a big established worldwide.
Yeah. Well, if you're mom and pops, what's the name mean to anybody?
Well, what's a 5-store franchise mean to anybody?
$100,000 name. Well, am I gonna sell it?
All right. So I take it you take the deal, you go with it. You run me through just a little bit of the jumping on board with this franchise.
Well, agreement was just the sauce and the dough and the name. We could run anything else we wanted to.
So the menu could be...
The menu could be anything I wanted on it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We had products that the rest of the corporation did not have on it.
Really?
There was 4 or 5 pizzas we had that they did not have.
Okay.
And then we carried some other products that he didn't like. Some of the salads we had. He's like, oh, no one will ever buy that. And that was like one of our best sellers.
Yeah.
I wanted to go with the... I forget what it was. It's a different type of dough. The Atkins type thing.
Oh, like the low carb stuff?
Yeah, they had somebody came to us and gave us low carb pizza shells. Mm-hmm. I thought they were pretty decent. I thought we should go with this. This was back in 2004.
Sounds about right.
There's only one pizza shop that I can name that has these shells now, and they sell a bunch of them.
I think I was there when that happened.
But everyone fought me and like, this is garbage. No one will ever buy this low carb stuff. And I'm like, no, we could sell this.
And now, 2019, it's all the rage again.
There's a couple. Maybe there's a couple pizza shops have low carb.
I can't think of any
around
here.
Lascola's has them.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think Domino's has a low carb one too. Recently.
I could see that.
But I mean, they sell it. Yeah, we had one I called. Actually, I think we kind of started the trend on that. The buffalo chicken pizza.
Yeah.
No one had that at that time.
No one around here. Yeah.
We put it on the menu in 2002. Mm-hmm. Nobody in this state. Well, I don't know other states, but nobody around here definitely had that. We had that, the Italian hoagie pizza. Mm-hmm. We had that. We had that steak ranch pizza.
That was a big one. I saw a lot of people copy that later on.
I mean, I'm 3 right there alone. And then my brother never got his incorporated. He wanted that one breakfast pizza.
Breakfast pizza.
It was like egg beaters, cheese, and then bacon on top. Yeah. We couldn't perfect that one too well. The egg beaters didn't cook well in the oven.
Yeah, I could see that.
If we could have, I think that would have sold pretty good.
It would have been very
at least the hungover people, maybe.
For sure. For sure. So, how long did you guys have the pizza shop?
About 5.5 years.
5.5 years. Now, I know I covered this with him, but like financially, were you guys doing all right? At least breaking even, making a little bit of profit?
Made a little bit of profit.
Okay.
I mean, we got out at pretty much the perfect timing.
Yeah.
But some people say that was it was rigged that way. I think we just I don't. How do you know when the economy is going to tank? We just happened to hit it right before it went down.
Luck of the draw. No, I
got lucky, sort of. I don't know.
I stuck around and watched that ship sink.
I just remember those guys called me up. They contacted my mom, I think, and they wanted me to come back and run the store for them. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if you could pay me enough to run your store. But I did agree, and I went back for, I think, like a week. I said, I'll give you a week. I'll see what's wrong with your store. I'll give you advice and what's going on. And I gave him a week, and I told him everything I thought what was going on. They didn't listen anyway. I don't know why they paid me, because they didn't listen to anything I told them anyway. But yeah, so that happened. And then we also gave them, I think my brother only stayed a couple days, but I gave him a week when they first bought over.
I remember that, yeah.
A week or two. I was there, and I don't even think they showed up when I was there. They
were
waited
very
till I
rarely
left. Yeah, they came in for a half an hour and asked me stuff. But yeah, for 2 weeks it was under their ownership. I ran their shop for them.
Yeah, that was probably the best 2 weeks they had.
Probably, because I didn't hear they did too well after that. So I don't know.
No, it was pretty nuts.
And then I made suggestions on, like, they wanted to know who would be manager, and I made suggestions on that, and they didn't listen to any of that. So
Well, there really wasn't that many people to choose from. I mean, as far as I remember, the staff was pretty small at that point.
I mean, cook-wise, I guess there was a lot of part-time people.
Yeah, there could have been a lot of part-time people. I was
We
thinking
had
like,
around 20, I want to say at our highest point, we had almost 20 people.
yeah,
Mostly
that sounds
delivery
right.
drivers. I think we had like 12 or so delivery drivers.
Yeah. All right, so you get out at the right time.
Yes.
Now, again, something you just jump on at the right time and you get out. What's the plan? Do you have a plan?
I don't
You're
have
just
a
like,
plan.
I just got to get out.
I don't have a plan. It was, I guess, just from working all the time and not knowing day by day what I'd be doing. Like, me and my brother worked opposite shifts, as you knew.
Yeah.
So if a driver called off and you can't get another driver, I'm there delivering. Now, I just worked the whole morning. Now I'm there at night delivering. I mean, it's like, do I get to go home? We open at 10 and we close at 11. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you're there 13 hours in one day, if not longer, time you clean up and everything.
Yeah. So.
I'm not saying that happens every day, but
It happens.
I mean, it does happen.
And
Or
it
in the
happens
winter
when you're
time
not
when
expecting it.
when you're all backed up and you want to leave at 5 o'clock, when my brother comes in and we're backed up on deliveries. Hey, go throw these in your car and start delivering. You know?
Yeah.
And he did the same thing. I'm not saying it was just me,
But yeah, it's stressful.
yeah. And then it's causing fighting between me and him, because I kind of did most of the prep work and advertising, and then he did like scheduling, and I don't know, it just became a little too much. We started arguing a little more, so I was like, we should maybe go our own ways and, be brothers again or something, be nicer to each other.
Yeah, I can see that happening a lot with any kind of family members working together in that type of capacity, especially with that level of stress, and it's really just you two running the whole show.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think what got to me most is we did all this advertising and sponsoring baseball teams and bands and just all this, and you'd get people. I'd be making a delivery somewhere, and like, oh, well, what's your pizza shop? I never heard of you guys. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to reach you. We had radio ads. Like,
So
other
people
than
are just
TV, I can't reach you.
People are just out of tune sometimes.
it's
If
like-
you don't get in their lane,
I think if you're not a big pizza shop in certain towns, you're not like Monroeville. You can't. It's a chain. It's all chains. There's no mom and pops.
Not a lot, no. I vaguely remember sitting down with you once and literally counting every shop in our
That
immediate
delivered
delivery
in-
area,
yeah.
and it was a lot.
I think it was like 18 at that time or something.
Something
wasn't
like that. Like it was a lot of different shops. They all serviced essentially the same area, if not like just like a bulk.
Most of it.
Yeah. So there you go, right there. It's some people will just like, oh, I like this pizza here, and that's just they can get it from there. That's it. They never try new things.
Yeah, a lot of people too also go with the cheapest thing.
Yeah,
too.
or you go the cheapest, which
Either
a
go
lot of the
cheapest
time
or
is
what you like.
some
other
big
than
chain running some ridiculous ad.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had some good deals, some real good deals.
Well, that's how we started off. Our first month that our competitor ran a $4.99 large pizza,
Yeah.
and we're just starting. We don't have money to run a $4.99 large pizza, so it was devastating us at first. I mean, we were having like $60 days, $100 day. Like, that is not paying anybody.
Yeah. Is that even enough money to keep the oven on? Really?
Well, when we last left, gas prices went up real high too. That was another reason why I was kind of saying, like, hey man, this gas prices are getting ridiculous for this oven. It's about, I want to say the last gas bill was like $715 for the month to run that oven all day long.
Yeah, that's wild stuff. And to have $100 day.
And then that's why pizza shops, like smaller pizza shops, use the oven to heat the store in the
Yeah.
winter. So you shut your vent fan off and then suffer with the humidity of the fan, I guess, or the oven.
Yeah. Were
Because
we
then you're
doing
paying gas. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna
turning
say,
the fan off.
It was such a tiny little spot. Like it's one of the smallest shops I've ever seen, and we did a lot with that little bit of space.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, back to it. You sell. You get out.
Yes.
The stress is gone. You got some money. You're done. What are you thinking? What's the move? What are you gonna do with your life?
I didn't have a move. I just had a couple buddies. They just bought pizza from us all the time, and it was came in one day and he said, "What are you gonna do now?" I said, "Man, I don't have no idea what I want to do."
Huh.
He's like, "You're a hard worker." And he hands me this business card. Contact this guy. You'll love the job. Okay, I call the guy up. No questions, nothing. Show up this training in Penn Hall. I was like, okay.
Right.
I don't even know where I'm applying to. I didn't know the company name or nothing. He
It's
just
so
said,
mysterious.
show up at 8 o'clock. Be at this gate and tell them who you are. I was like, okay. Go in. I finally found out that's the company I was worked for. Well, I left for a little bit and came back, but 10 years now.
10 years.
I'm on 11. Well, 10 and a half.
Okay.
This company.
So that's where you are now.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm back with them now.
Now, that title you told me at the beginning, is that something you worked your way up to, or is that where you fit in when you got there?
When I originally started with them,
Yeah.
I was a winder technician.
Winder technician.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess this is a perfect time to get into the job, because I have no idea what you do.
Okay.
Um,
My first time or the second time?
let's... All right. let's do it that way. Let's go with the first time.
Okay.
And then we'll get into the now later and actually go through your day. Because that's what the name of the show is. It's taking me through your day.
Okay.
So, what you get there, and then what happens? What do they tell you? What?
There's a 1-week training course.
Okay, and what are you doing in that
I think
training?
it's longer now. They
Yeah.
basically just go, this is kind of like what we do. You'll learn it as you go out there. Like, kind of half show you how to use some of the tools.
All
Like,
right.
you'll be using this tool. It doesn't work here because it's just for show here, but you'll be using it out there. Somebody out there will show you.
Okay.
So it's a traveling job. You travel all over the place. When you get hired on full time, then you can go to other countries.
Okay.
But I guess they kind of like me. They were going to send me to Colombia,
Mhm.
but then our government got in fight with their government, and no, we don't want Americans fixing our generators. So that kind of got kicked out. They had to send other people, so we couldn't get a visa there.
Yeah.
But
But that's the general gig, though, fixing generators.
fixing the generators, yeah.
Okay.
At
For
power plants,
power plants?
oil plant, whoever has a generator.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. Now I'm starting to get it.
So that how the coils go into the generator, they're winded in.
Yeah.
That's why you're a winder technician, because you're winding the generator.
Now, you mentioned tools. Like, give me like a perspective of the thing that you're winding. Is this something you're winding by hand? Do you have special tools? Is it
There's
enormous?
special tools. Some of the tools are pretty big. So it's a basic generator. What they call is a gas generator is anywhere from 15 feet to 22 feet long. You could probably stand up it with your arms out, not touch any of the coils.
Interesting.
I was in what they called the nuclear tour because I had a good background, no criminal, didn't know a bunch of money. You got to go to all the fun nuclear plants and go through all their testing. You have to go psych test and
Why
two
so?
different psych tests and Because if you go into nuclear, they want to know you don't want to steal. You're not trying to blow the place up.
Oh,
You're
okay.
healthy.
So it's a full psychological workup of like.
Yeah, you spend a whole day before you get into the nuclear plant just talking to different people and filling out tests and telling them about your background, and they do a background check on you.
All right.
They'll bring up all kind of stuff, like you got a speeding ticket 10 years ago. And they're like, how do you know? They know everything when you go to the nuclear plant.
I mean, I guess you'd have to. Better safe than sorry when it comes to.
One of the safest ones I went in was actually the one in.
Yeah.
There was people everywhere, like security everywhere through there.
Just super high level.
So like you go through, they blow air on you. I don't know what that's for. They X-ray you, and then you have to take your boots off, anything metal, and then put it through the metal detector. Even though they know it's metal. I don't understand what that was for. Then when you come back out, you got to go back through the air, back through the X-ray machine, back through, like to make sure you're not contaminated. But
yeah.
They kind of let you go a little quicker if you weren't on what they call a hot deck.
Okay.
So if they removed the rods and they kind of separated them and it sat for a little bit, they said it wasn't really a hot deck.
Okay.
So
you're far enough removed from the.
Well, some of the places when I was in, they took the generator out. They had a backup generator.
Okay.
And they moved it to one of their warehouses, and we worked on it there. So that wasn't considered a hot deck.
That makes sense.
Because it wasn't hooked to the nuclear rods.
Yeah, if you can, I mean, avoid all that stuff and just like, hey, take this out here and work on it there.
Yeah. Not all of them have that, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, you get through the training. What are you doing in a day? You get there.
Depending on what power plant I was in.
Let's just pick something you did early on. Let's just pick one of your like first gigs.
The first one I was on, it was a nuclear plant. That was. That one was easier because when we came up to the plant, their warehouse that they had the generator in was to the right.
Yeah.
And the rest of the power plant was to the left, so we didn't have to deal with all the guards up there. We just had to go to the right.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy saying, like, I don't know why I remember this so vividly. He was saying if the rods were to blow up, we have a safe room. You have to run towards the plant up this hill to get in this building that's we know is safe from nuclear fallout.
Okay.
And I'm thinking in my head, how do you know it's safe? Who tested this? And we are right by like it was half a mile. I'm running to the water. I'm gonna trust the water to save me before your building. I'm running away from the fallout, of it blowing, not running up a hill towards a building with steel toes on. Which I'm probably not gonna make it. So
yeah. Well, I imagine
I'm running the other way. I don't know.
Hey, fair enough. So you get to this plant. You're in this separate area to work on stuff. What are you doing? What is there?
So this one was a full rewind. We had to take the coils out. So you have to cut the end of the coils because they're connected together by bars.
Yeah.
You have to cut and take all the coils out. And they wanted to go back so far with the iron because the iron they were saying was bad or was rusting or whatever. So we were replacing some of the iron that's in a circle. So when you get the coils out, and then there's like sheets of iron. You have to like rip them off by hand. So you're wearing like Kevlar sleeving, Kevlar gloves, and you're just ripping it off and throwing it in a dumpster.
Yeah.
Now, how do I describe how thick the iron is? It's probably about an 1/8 inch thick. Okay. By 2 foot, 3 foot high.
All right.
I mean, it has like a pattern so the coils can fit into it.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's pretty sharp stuff. And they're like kind of like you have to kind of rock them back and forth to get them out.
Yeah.
So you can't grab a bunch because they overlay the next one behind them.
Yeah.
So you got to do one at a time. And to go 3 inches, you're taking out like 100, 300 just from, we'll say 12 to 3 o'clock.
So, yeah, let's just say how long it takes you to get one out. And what's like the procedure that you're physically doing to get it out?
All right. I started at 12, we'll use a clock just because the generator's a circle. So say I started at 12 o'clock, I'd pull that first one. Mm-hmm. Then that would take me to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Okay. So that's 4 sheets. Then somebody's below me underneath my scaffolding, and they're pulling out 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Then there's a guy next to him that's going 7, 8, 9, coming back around to the next guy that takes it 10, 11, back to me 12, and then we keep going the circle because they're overlapping. But you have to kind of like rock it because they're hooked. So you gotta go like rock to the left to get the hooks off, and then pull down because the generator was compacted so tight that the sheets are like sticking to them to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you mean there. So this being your first entrance into this job, this was kind of just a manual labor thing at this point?
Very much manual labor, yes.
Very much manual labor.
Yes, very manual labor.
Okay. So is that your whole day? You just unwinding and releasing?
That would be that day until you got all the iron out.
And then
You'd put the new iron back in.
And rewind it.
Then you would, start rewinding, put the coils back in, or what they call the bars at first. They're not coils until you solder them together or braze them together.
Okay. And that's something you do at the end, or you start doing as you go through the new ones?
Well, there's multiple things going on here.
I'm trying to keep it simple,
so
but I also want to understand.
You put the first bars down.
Yeah.
Say the first one I worked on, it had 54 bars. You put the 54 in, we get the clamps in there so they're not falling back out of the thing.
Yeah.
Then you start the next set of bars, because it's 2 bars per coil.
Okay.
When you put them together, and that's a coil. And then that makes it 108. Okay, so when you get all those in, then guys fall off to do different things. So some guys will be putting in what they call wedges, which help to hold the coil in, so we can take our clamps out.
Got it.
Okay, and then the other guys are brazing the clips on the end to make them coils. Mm-hmm. Now the clip on the end is I want to say they're at least 5-pound copper clips.
Yeah.
I mean, you're heating this thing up to its cherry red till you can stick the solder into the thing, or it won't stick.
Exactly.
So you got about 4 guys doing that, 2 guys doing the wedges, other guys prepping for what they call resin work, which you're gonna have to put spacers in between the coils. Mm-hmm. So when the generator or the rotor's moving, the coils aren't just bouncing around. So they have, I don't know who comes up with the design, some engineer lays out a design of how he wants these what they call diamond spacers in.
Yeah.
That go in between the coils, and then you got to wrap them, and that's where the resin comes in. So they have banding that you soak in the resin, and then there's felt that goes around the blocks, so the blocks don't cut the coil insulation.
That makes sense.
So you wrap the blocks in the felt that's already soaking in resin, which you have to feed in. You have to like physically make the resin go into this felt. So you're like massaging it, and then you're wrapping it, and then you're shoving it into the coil. Now you can't make it so tight where you can't get it the whole way down, but it can't be loose where it falls out.
Yeah.
So you have to play with the different size blocks to fit it between the coils. So once you get that block in there, now you have to band that block into the coil.
All right.
Sounds like that's easy.
It does not sound easy.
Now you have a coil below that one. So what they have like this hook. You have to hook it under the coil, like in between coils, under the coil, and come back up and keep wrapping that diamond spacer in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While people are soldering or brazing on the outside of you, and people are hitting wedges on the inside. And then the other 2 people go down what they call the lead box. They cut the leads. If the leads need repaired or whatever, they'll be down there in this little box, which they have a guy watch them. Usually, I don't know, somebody watches them, make sure something catches on fire, they're claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And they rewind that. I had to do that once. It was horrible.
They were horrible because it was claustrophobic, or horrible
Well,
because
every
you were on
generator
fire?
was made in 1950, and people were 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
So the whole time I'm bent over, I'm a 200-pound guy, and this is made for a 100-pound guy. So I'm like, it was like a rhino in a china cabinet or something. I was hitting everything. I had cuts everywhere. So I have a tie-back suit on. It's all shredded up and just covered in resin because I'm hitting what I'm working on. I'm hitting the back wall. I'm bleeding. I'm just getting real mad and hitting things more. And
is that something they specifically like hire little guys for?
they hire anybody.
Just
The one job I went on, they sent a guy who was 350 pounds. He couldn't do nothing. I had to do everything.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was just like, why did you give me this guy? All he did was hand me tolls the whole time.
Wow.
I'm like, Dan, go get me this. Dan, go get me that. Like, what are you doing here? You can't help me at all. I mean, he's good if you gotta lift the coils in, like lifting heavy stuff, but yeah.
But
other
not
times, little guys are good.
Yeah.
So then you got two other guys, what they call the belly bands.
Mhm.
So the generator is held in with what they call bands. And then there's an outer shell to protect the iron. Well, since it's built in the 50s, it's about 1.5 feet wide. You have to climb through. There's no light in there. It's metal and metal. There's no light. So you have to bring a drop light in. Well, my best memory is that I went in one time. I put my foot straight. My foot wasn't big enough. It got stuck. The guy had to climb in behind me, take my boot off so I could get back out. So I'm in there like yelling, and nobody hears you because you got people were brazing and hammering. I must have been in there 20 minutes till somebody heard.
Wow.
I'm like, hey, I
terrifying.
can't get out of here. And then in the process of that, people were moving around. They unplugged the drop lights. I'm in there yelling. I'm in the pitch dark, and I'm just like, I hope somebody comes in eventually.
There's no protocol for that? There's no spotter? There's no walkie-talkie?
Well, I
nothing?
mean, you just courtesy every so often you check on somebody. I don't know, and it just happened. It was time to check on me, I guess.
Hey, fair enough. At least you got out. 20 minutes, though. That seems like an eternity in a
But that was the
situation
easy
like that.
part of that task. So everyone hated doing the belly bands because it was dark, and you had to bring the high torque. The high torque was 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, the generator's in a circle. The bolts you had to tighten were in the middle of the circle. So you're laying on top of the circle with your chest on iron, cold iron, for 12 hours, holding a 15-pound socket. Now, they only brought the tough guys to do this because littler guys, didn't have enough strength.
Yeah.
You're on the arch, like your head is going down the generator, and you have to lift the head of this machine up and put it onto the next bolt.
Uh-huh.
Just straight arms out, like all shoulder strength,
Yeah.
with the hydraulic line behind you, which is then messing with you even more. So you can imagine how frustrating that is.
Yeah.
And there's probably like 100 bolts down one way. And it wasn't like you could tighten a bolt the whole way. So what they did was count it by flats.
What do you mean?
Because you didn't want it to tighten uneven.
Okay.
Like,
So
a car tire. You're not
Yeah,
going
you don't
one
wanna-
tire, and
Yeah,
the next
exactly.
one. So you would go down the one bay, each bay had like 4 or 5 bolts. And there'd be 7 bays on one side and 7 bays on the other side.
Yeah.
Well, they'd come to you. We want you to do 3 flats. So you'd have to do 3 flats, 4 times, next bay, 4 times, and then come back the other side.
Okay.
So you would spin around in there and bring the equipment back over
Yeah. that
until
makes
you
sense.
got it up to the pressure that they wanted it at.
Mhm.
Yeah, sometimes that took 2 days of people, first or daylight and night shift doing it. There was only 2 shifts.
Yeah.
So you're 24 hours of people tightening bolts.
Oh, that's so crazy. But I assume you're getting compensated well for this type of work, right? And I am talking early on. This is when you first got the
It
gig.
was started at 18 an hour.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That was in 2006.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, not
I
bad at
ended
all.
at 26 an hour.
Okay, and at this point, this is an entry level job.
Yes.
Okay, so your college didn't.
I didn't care if you had a college, as long as you could work. That's
Yeah.
all they cared about. As long as you did work, they had. So most of the time they had to get the generator done in so much time.
Yeah.
So on a gas power generator was 22 days. They called them Aeropacks. You had 22 days, or they got back charged.
Back charged.
They're not very happy when they get back charged. That means the customer charges them because now they're going over time.
Uh-huh.
Because now that's costing them money that they could be making money off this generator.
Exactly.
So they back charge the company.
That makes sense. But I mean, I'm assuming this is all
So as
just
long as you
contracted.
keep working and you get ahead of your time, they love you.
Oh,
If you're ahead of your time, you're saving them. That means if something was to go wrong, now you got me ahead, they love you.
Perfect.
Like, okay, now we got extra time because he got us ahead.
Okay, so let's go to the part where you quit.
You don't. I guess most people don't quit. You just tell them, I can't do this no more. And they kind of just keep you on the books and call you randomly every so often.
Oh, okay.
So I left. I kind of told him, I was like, I can't do this no more.
Well, what's
I'm
also...
gonna have a, my son's gonna be due here soon, and I took a job for doing a similar thing. They did rotors and exciters, and they didn't do the actual generator. They just did rotors and exciter, rewinding those.
Yeah.
And I mean, I took a little bit of a pay cut because they said, "Oh, you're not traveling and you're not dealing. You could get hurt on the road and you're not flying and stuff." So all right, I take a pay cut. But while I was at was still calling me out on jobs, even though I said, "Hey, I'm not going to do this anymore." They would still go, "Oh yeah, we got one in Boston. If you want to go up to Boston." No, I'm kind of working here. And then it was a couple months later. "Hey, we got a job down in Texas." Like, all right, whatever, Like,
all right.
Why do you keep calling me? So I mean, if you worked hard and you did good there, they never took you off their payroll.
Yeah, they're just gonna keep trying.
So that affected me later. So when I worked for a year, they got slow. They said, "Oh, second shift." I was on the second shift. That was night shift a lot of times. Brought us all into the office. You're all laid off. The whole shift. Just got rid of the whole shift.
The whole shift.
Yeah, 20-some people. You're all laid off.
Wow.
So I'm like, now what am I going to do? I thought I'd be here for a while, I'm like, geez, oh man. So I got a job at
Doing what?
working at HVAC.
Ah.
So it's something totally different. So they're like, "Oh, you know tools and everything, right?" Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Well, the interview there was a little different because they were just starting this division.
Yeah.
The guy barely knew English.
Uh-huh.
He was straight from Japan. But he was like, "Oh, yeah, I hire you. No problem. You good. Yeah. Just
with no HVAC.
He asked me like 2 questions. Yeah, no. "Oh, we'll teach you.
Okay.
You'll be fine. We'll teach you. We'll take care of you, everything." It was a decent company to work for.
Uh-huh.
They cared about their people there.
Good.
They don't understand sarcasm, but
Yeah,
it's all right. And they have a lot of safety stand-downs. So like when I worked for it was get the job done.
Yeah.
We don't care what you got to do, just get it done. Don't die doing it, but get it done.
Yeah.
Not for if you get a slight little cut, stop everything. We got to talk about this. I wasn't used to that.
Yeah.
So the crane went down the one time. I'm like, "Man, this thing weighs 300 pounds. You go get a buddy." I'm like, "Let's go flip this thing."
Yeah.
Well, we flip it, and the Japanese managers come out like, "How'd you flip that unit over?" "Picked it up, lifted it up. It's only 300 pounds. Yeah. No, we don't lift. We use crane." I'm like, "Well, I can lift this. This is no problem. You could hurt your back." And now looking back at him, like, he's right.
Yeah.
I could hurt my back doing this, but at that time I'm like, I'm young, dumb. I'll lift it up, flip it around.
Yeah.
So after that one, no lift, crane. I'm like, okay, So that made me feel like they actually care about their employees.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I just felt that way with them.
No, that's a good thing. I was going to see, because I have
And
to
then
cut
we
all
had,
these names out, and I'm like, oh, they actually said nice things about them.
Yeah,
So we'll
and
keep
then
that in.
halfway through the year, he said, "Hey, go get this physical." I'm like, "Physical? I'm young. I'm healthy. I'll run any of these people in here." "No, that's not why we do a physical." "Okay." He's like, "We'll pay you to do the physical." I'm like, "Wait, you're going to pay me to do physical?" "Yeah." "Okay, do I got to punch out to do this?" "No, you stay on the clock." It's like, okay, stay on the clock, do this physical, come back. They paid me my regular time and $150 for doing the physical.
Really?
Helps their insurance.
That
Keeps
makes
their
sense.
premiums down.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So I'm like, now they're helping me in another way. They're keeping their premiums down so I don't have to pay as much. I mean, now I'm feeling even better. Like, you're really watching out for me. You're keeping my premiums down. You're making sure I'm not getting hurt. Like, how much more can I ask for? But I mean, I was driving over an hour to get there.
Yeah.
It was on. So that kind of sucked. That's what kind of led me from staying there. And it was hard to get promoted there because I think they have like 7 buildings out there.
Mm-hmm.
So when a job opens up, anybody from any of the other buildings can apply to it.
Huh.
So I kept just missing out on jobs because they were like, so-and-so was here 10 years and he's on third shift and wants to go to first shift for this position. It's like, oh, great. And then I'd go to the next one. Well, this guy's in this building, and he's on second shift, and he wants first shift. Like, great, it happened again. Like, gee. And I'm like, I'm not sticking around to see how many times this is going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Plus, the hour drive. I don't know. You work 8 hours, that's over 10 hours of your day away.
Yeah.
At that time, I want to say my youngest was probably about almost 1.
Mm.
I'm like 10 hours away, and like, jeez, I don't know. I wanted to see him more.
Yeah.
So then I applied back to where I thought I was originally working for, because it was a German lady. They said, I'm applying this job, and she goes, I said, are you the by the river? So I thought it was the warehouse we used to get our tooling from. Yeah, we're by water. Real hard to understand her.
Yeah.
I show up at the building. Nobody knows who I am, why I'm there, or anything. I had to call her up. I said, where are you at? She said, oh, that's where I'm at. She goes, okay, and she gives me the address. I put in my phone, because I had a smartphone at the time, luckily. And I said, you're on the other side of She's like, yes. I said, there's no river on the other side of Where are you getting this water from? There is a little pond.
A pond?
A little pond is what she was talking about, was water. So at this point, I'm 45 minutes late to this interview. So I have to drive from one side to the other side. I get there, she goes, you worked for before? I said, yes. She goes, okay, you're hired.
Easy.
Easy. I didn't have to fill out anything. She goes, let's go over and talk to your new boss. So we go over to talk to this time the guy's name was Jerry. And Jerry looks over and he goes, I didn't know we were hiring. She goes, yeah, I just hired him for you.
Okay.
I'm like, all right. And then that's how I started there. And I've been there for 5.5 years.
Okay. Well, that brings us to the beginning of the show.
Yes, that's what I do now.
That's what you do now. So, in your day, when are you waking up?
So my youngest wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Like clockwork?
Sometimes 6.
Okay.
Pretty much clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So you don't need an alarm or anything like that?
No,
You got to
I
get
just
the
rely on him to get me up. So he has autism, so he goes to So in the morning, I basically make breakfast for them. I don't really make myself breakfast because I know they're not going to eat it all.
Yeah.
I just eat whatever they don't eat.
Classic dad.
So he gets on the bus at 8, and the oldest gets on the bus at 8:30.
Okay.
So by that time, since I didn't sleep at night, I try to take a nap, or I, clean the house or cut grass or whatever, doctors or dentist or whatever.
Yeah. So, hold on a second, because let me go from 5 to, what do you say, 8:30 for the buses?
Yes.
Okay, so we got breakfast in there. What's filling up the rest of this time? You just hanging out with the kids?
I have 2 hyper kids. Yes.
Yeah, it's just full time. Yeah, hanging out, playing. Yeah, we can hear him right now.
Yeah.
Having a ball.
That's the youngest, actually, right there.
All right, so they're off to school.
There's no slow time with them.
Okay, yeah, so they're here.
So it's 5 o'clock.
That's what you're up to.
He is up, and he's hyper at 5. He's ready to go. He wants to play.
Got it.
He's a nice alarm clock, because sometimes in the morning he'll climb on the bed and just like belly flop on me. That's a good way to wake up.
Yeah, awesome. They go off to school. You
Yes.
said you're handling, errands essentially.
Yes.
When are you getting? When do you have to be at work?
I have to actually start punching at 3:30.
3:30. Okay, let's back up a little bit. So, morning routine wise, do you have anything, or are you just kind of just running on all cylinders from 5 o'clock on? Trying to squeeze in a toothbrush in here.
I've been working on till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
And it's about a half an hour drive, so I don't really actually go to sleep till 2. So when I wake up at 5, I'm laying like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty much dragging for about an hour until I wake up.
Uh-huh.
And then after that hour, then I'm starting to find what I can make them for breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids don't like eggs, so that's one of the things now. It's like toaster strudels, or I don't know. I come up with different things and get them to eat.
That works. You showering in the morning? You shower when you get home from work?
Usually in between, after I get them to on the bus.
Oh, okay. All right. So I guess let's just go.
Because I can't. If I were to shower in the morning, I'd have to leave the youngest by himself.
I didn't mean
And he
morning.
would get into everything, so I can't like just, hey, you just go on your own and do whatever.
No,
you
I didn't
want.
mean in the morning as in like your actual morning. I mean like before work
Oh, when I
versus
come after work. Yeah, well, I don't do it after work because I'd wake them up. But
Okay.
yeah, in the middle of the day,
Okay.
basically.
So yeah, after they're off and
Out on the
okay,
bus, yeah.
Got it. Okay. Commute is a half hour.
Yes.
You leave here. What are you doing on the commute? You listening to anything?
Well, it's commute a half hour after I get home from work. See, now I told you, he goes, I got to pick him up. That's in county. So I go to pick him up in my youngest. I drive him back to meet up with my wife so she can take him from there. So I have to leave the actual house at 1:30.
Got it. So, all right. Let me just try to simplify this a little
So it's
bit more.
basically 2 hours before work I leave the house.
Okay, the full 2 hours. But let's just call this your alone time in the car. Are you
Okay.
listening to anything?
Yeah, I have music on.
Music?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I was digging for.
Yes.
So you handle all that stuff. You get into work. What's the move? Is there a parking lot there? Do you have
There's a parking lot.
parking lot? You get in the building. What are just some of the first moves you have to do?
First moves. Okay. Well, I guess I'm not really a normal job. We have a whiteboard.
Okay.
Has names on it. I go
Mhm.
find where my name is and what work cell I'm in. We have 2 buildings. I could be in building 1. I could be in building 2.
What's a work cell?
We're not really assemblers. They dropped that title. So that's how I got my title now.
Mm-hmm.
But we build this product. So we get a bunch of parts and we put all these parts into however we can.
Yeah.
You know, if we have to solder, we got to bolts, screws, whatever, put it in this product.
Got it.
So the boss makes up which job you're going to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So HV2, which is I'm in 95% of the time, has 12 work cells.
Yeah.
They're about as big as a trailer of a big rig,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like taped off, like in a rectangle.
Yeah.
And then on the front of it, it'll say like WC 101, WC 102, and I just go to whatever one I'm assigned to.
Okay. So.
I don't really actually talk to my boss. I just go to the board, look, see where I'm at, and go.
And go for it. Yeah, good. Kind of like that. As far as what you did do versus what you do now, is it kind of similar?
A lot easier, not as
Lot-
physical.
Not as physical.
No, nowhere near physical. as
Okay,
physical.
so take me through the beats of the day. You're there, you find out where you're going, you get where you're going, now what? And again, I'm just talking about an average
An
day.
average day.
Give me an
So
average day.
most days, I have certifications. I have a crane certification, a fork truck certification, scissor lift. I mean, I could be on one of those things. Okay, most days it seems like anymore I'm using something with the crane.
Okay.
For some reason, they love how I crane things. So like, at the beginning of the day, oh, we need this job moved to 102 or whatever. So I spend about a half an hour, 45 minutes moving the whole job to where it needs to go, and then I go back to where I need to be on the board.
What do you mean by moving the job? Like, are you just physically taking everything that you can take with a crane?
The
and-
unit I'm working on, like I was saying, is as big as a tractor trailer
Yeah.
when it's all together.
Mhm.
But some of them come in 2 pieces, some are in 4 pieces. So I got to move what we call cabinets
Got it.
to their spot. So they're empty cabinets until we put everything in them,
Mhm.
except for the transformer. It actually gets built somewhere else, the transformer itself. So I put it in that work cell, crane it off, most times off a truck.
Yeah.
So they back a truck in. We have a shipping guys, but on second shift we don't. So the shipping guys are leaving, so they'll have all the stuff out, and I got to take it off the truck and put it where it needs to go because they're on their way out. So that's been happening a lot because we picked up a lot. They've done a lot of hiring.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
good.
think we picked up like 25 new people,
All right.
and then I go work on whatever job I'm on.
All right. I'm just trying to find a way to
So there's multiple things to do on the job.
yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. I mean, I could be putting hoses in, putting cells, buckets, power wire, stress cone wire. I mean, whatever needs done on that job.
Got it.
So we have what they call a checklist. And on the smaller jobs, the checklist will have of OMSs and all that, and all the steps you need to do to get it done. I mean, there could be 400 things you need to do to this to get this job done.
Wow.
So you kind of look and see what needs done.
Now, when it comes to a job like that with like 400 items on it, is this something you have to knock out in a shift, or is this like this is what we're doing all week, or we're doing this until it's done? How is that?
Till it's done. So you do as much as you can in your shift.
Yeah.
The basic air cold drive we do is probably takes about a week.
All right.
2 shifts a week. Each
Okay.
shift working on it. 2 guys per shift.
Fair enough.
So they route the time of it, and I want to say about the average time of the drive is about 265 hours.
All right.
So I guess 2 weeks maybe.
Yeah, I
Week,
think that's
2 weeks.
pretty
Something
much
like
what I was
that.
looking for. I think that covers that.
That's the
part.
smaller ones. Now, when I started there, the one building was water cold and one building was air cold.
Mm-hmm.
So I do both product lines, and the water colds go for like 1,000 something hours. So you're on that thing for almost a month.
Ah, okay. All right, so there is a drastic difference depending on.
Yeah, because you might have to solder pipe and everything.
Got it. So now, just trying to get away from too much of the detail, because I figure like if I just sit here asking questions, we're going to be here for days. This is because apparently you do a lot of different things.
You do a lot of different things.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's just. I think everyone kind of gets the general idea of what you do. It's labor. It's putting things together. It's working with tools. It's heavy lifting.
I mean, in a way, it's pretty decent because I don't really do this. Each job has the same parts,
Yeah.
but you're not doing the same thing every day because there's so many parts that it's not like, oh man, I'm doing the same thing day after day after day. Like one day I'm building a panel, the next day I'm power wiring, the next day I'm putting cell. I'm doing different parts of the job every day. It
So
is the same thing, but it's not the same thing every day.
But there's a fair bit of creative thinking and kind of
Yes.
what's the word I'm looking for? Problem solving.
You'll need problem solving. Yes.
Lots
Yes.
of problem solving. Okay, so in general, that kind of keeps you happy mentally. That you get that kind of array of different. That your day isn't just monotonous. It's not necessarily the same thing you did yesterday.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have drawings, but our engineers, like, I don't blame them. Whatever, you're building this big unit. It's $1 million job.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss something.
Yeah.
So every job, they miss something. So you're like, okay, well, how do I get this from there to here through 3 different cabinets? Well, you have to make holes, or and then you have to watch strike and creep. Strike and creep is if I run a power wire through past the cells, I have to have a minimum of 5 inches away from a cell, or it's going to arc to the cell, or the cell is going to arc to the wire. So then you got to think like, okay, well, I can't run that way. I got to run a different way.
So that's
I mean,
that's
you got some thinking
some
involved.
very
Yeah.
heavy problem solving. I imagine you can't really screw that up without a massive issue, right?
Some people have. I mean, we've had cells blow up. Okay.
Yeah.
When a cell blows up, it sounds like a shotgun going off next to you. I mean, people are
right.
hitting the deck and everything.
Let's go into that a little bit. Do you have any stories that stick out?
What kind of stories? Bad stories?
Any
kind of
anything
stories?
that like sticks out like
So, on second shift, it's me and Lou. We're like the strongest guys on the shifts.
Yeah.
Lou went to test, but so now it's me pretty much in assembly. So I do a lot of the power wire, which is probably the most physical thing we do, which is you get a 500-pound spool and you keep pulling the wire off the spool.
Yeah.
Now it's thick wire. It's like 1 inch thick wire or 2 inch thick wire, whatever gauge they need. So when I put the wire onto the tabs, I just tighten it down.
Right.
Well, I get it all the time. Like, who put the power wire on? And I say me. Like, oh great, now I got to get an impact gun. I hear it all the time. Like, why do you tighten it so tight? I'm like, well, it's not supposed to come off. Why are you taking it off?
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to change this one out. Well, don't change it out. It's fine. Like, I don't know why you're changing it out. Well, I put in, onto that story, I put in a DI tank, which is an overflow, in the coolant cabinet. Well, the guy that mainly does that cabinet told me, tighten them bolts down hard as you can.
Yeah.
They had to cut them out. They could have said they couldn't get the bolts out of the thing. I mean, that's just a comical thing I always hear about all the time.
Yeah.
When I go to tighten, oh, you know, back it down a little bit when you're tightening. So,
Yeah. Give us 70%.
yeah. I hear that all the time.
Fantastic. So, during your shift, is there a designated lunch?
Yes.
Now, are there designated breaks aside from your lunch?
Yes.
Okay. When and what are the breaks? And
Like
when
what
is-
time I do 'em?
Yeah. Are they strict, or is it just like, I'm going on break right now?
Set times.
Set times. Okay. When are the times and how long are they?
Well, it's supposed to be 15 minutes or 10 minutes. 6 o'clock, first break. 8 o'clock is lunch, and then 10:45 is last break.
Okay. Lunch.
Lunch is half hour.
Lunch is a half hour. What are you doing for lunch?
Non-paid.
Non-paid.
Yeah.
What are you
Whatever
doing
I
for lunch?
bring in, because we're not really near anything.
Okay, so you're not buying anything. You have
We're
to.
in, but it's not really in the town. We're on the outskirts.
I know. I know what you're talking about. So what are you packing for yourself? What's the big strong man eating for lunch?
Anything and everything.
Just give me a couple go-tos that you'd have.
Well, yesterday I could tell you what I ate yesterday. I had a steak yesterday that I cooked on my salt slab, and then I had fries, and they have drinks there. I had a Pepsi, I think.
Okay. Now, wait, you're cooking this there, or this is something you
No, I
bought?
pre-cooked it. Yeah, I
Okay.
pre-cooked it.
All right. So cold steak, cold fries.
I reheated it.
Oh,
in the microwave.
microwave steak and fries. Okay. I guess that covers that. The end of your day, what is the move? Are you just stop what you're doing, or you have to finish whatever it is that you started? How does that work?
Well, I get to a point where I can finish, and lately anymore, I've been having a lot of trainees.
Okay.
So I try to finish up and put some of the tools away, because any day I gotta have 200. I have a toolbox,
Yeah.
a full size like mechanics toolbox that I drag around from work cell to work cell.
Okay.
So I gotta put all the tools back in the toolbox and lock it up.
All right. So that's you have to do that.
For that, that's the last 15 minutes to pick up the wire strippings, clean up the work cell, get the drawings back in order.
But that's kind of what I'm saying here. When is the point where you're like, all right, it's 15 minutes before I got to get out of here? You just stop what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. This is good. Perfect. Then you lock all your tools away. Is there anything you got to do from there? You punch out? Do you
Just punch out, yeah.
Punch out?
So I have to, what they call sap, out of the job. So I'm in a work cell, but it's a customer from wherever. Right now I'm on a Japanese customer for an oil rig. I'm building one of theirs. So I'm in the work cell, which is number. I got to use this number, but I'm sapping into this customer's job.
Yeah.
So I got to get out of the customer's job. So I got to go to a SAP machine, what they call the SAP machine, to get out of the customer's job.
Yeah.
Then from there, I got to walk over to the actual punch-out clock to punch out
Punch out from
my actual job.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. If you're, doing gigs for other people through them, why wouldn't you want to keep track of all the time? All right, so I'm going to get into some of the fun stuff here, but before we do that, do you have any general pet peeves about the job?
There's a lot of negative people.
Negative people.
Brings me down. I just can't. I try to I try to have fun while I'm at work.
Yeah.
And when you work, I joke and mess around a lot. But there's just some people are just negative all the time. It's just stay away from me if you're going to be with the negativity all the time.
Now, you think that's just people that are attracted to that job, or that's just luck of the draw? You got negative people.
It's not all of them. It's a lot of the older guy. It's kind of weird, but it's a lot of the older guys.
Yeah.
Because they've done a lot of changing. So they bought this company over.
Yeah.
It was called.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Well, let them do all this stuff. They could come in. So I start at 3:30. You could start at 4:30 with it, and then stay an hour later.
Uh-huh.
Well, don't do that. It's 3:30, or you don't come in, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, they had perks with put their roles in. Now they're all grumpy because it's not.
Yeah. Typical, corporate overlords. Everyone's.
Yeah, so it sucks. You hear that all day long. They're gonna fire us all.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. Now, aside from that, this will just wrap up that part of it. If someone wanted to get into this job, what would you recommend that they do?
How to get to...
I'm not
They
this
have
specific.
job fairs, actually, at our site.
Really?
Yes. They've been
Okay.
running job fairs for the last 3 weeks.
All right. It's just now because you said you're bringing on a bunch of new people. Is that
Yes.
a common occurrence, or are they just doing it now because they're trying to get more staff?
They are doing it now because it's kind of political, but the political background reduced restrictions
Uh-huh.
on certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go deep into that. But they reduced restrictions, and now it just flooded us
Uh-huh.
because now these restrictions are down. Now we want your product now.
Yeah.
So now we're just getting slammed.
That makes a
So-
lot of sense.
One of the restrictions that helped us, we landed 50 water-cooled drives from Qatar,
Mm-hmm.
which before these restrictions were up, they were, well, we don't know if we can do this for you.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we were struggling. They were laying off. And now they did this, and it's hire, because we're getting all these jobs.
Yeah. All right. So, go to a job fair. if
Yes.
that's what you want to do, go find a job
Even
fair.
though the product we're making saves company, it actually kind of helps the environment.
Mm.
So the generator runs at full power all the time.
Yeah.
So this changes the frequency of the generator, so it can store the power into it and add it to another machine or whatever. So your generator, you could actually ramp it down with this machine.
Yeah.
So when you're ramping it down, it's saving you electrical costs.
Yeah.
So maybe it's saving you gas because that's what you're running your generator on,
Yeah.
or nuclear, or whatever you're using it for.
Mm-hmm. So,
That's one of the features of the job.
well,
of
no,
the,
that
of the
that
machine.
is.
The other feature, a lot of oil wells use it, and that's where the restrictions come in with the oil.
Yeah.
It could help you have burst of power to shoot the oil down the pipeline.
Uh-huh.
So like the oil doesn't always need to go at a fast pace down this pipeline. So every so often this machine will burst power into this to get it flowing,
Yeah. I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. What I was pausing on, I'm trying to think, because I'm going to censor out a fair bit of the names and locations, just in case. I don't want to get you fired or anything.
Yeah.
But
Pretty
so
cool.
as far as the job fair goes, what type of company, I should say? What is a vague term for the company that you work for?
Big term. It's electrical? I don't know.
It's an electrical company? It's not
It's
electrical.
like manufacturing, I guess.
Manufacturing. Okay.
Electrical manufacturing?
Yeah, I feel like
I
if
guess.
someone wanted to go down this career path, they'll figure it out. There's
I mean, we
several
have-
avenues.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm electrical mechanical tech, and then we have what they call EETs, which is electrical. They do the actual electrical testing of it.
Mhm.
They get paid a little more. So I mean,
And I imagine they have to be like certified electricians or something like that, or anything. No?
they're trained there. I mean,
Yeah, we'll
if
train
I wanted to
here.
apply to it, I could apply to it, I guess.
Fascinating.
They want you to have a degree in that, though.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think a lot of them have ITT, I think, degree,
yeah.
like electrical degree. Yeah.
That's suiting. All right, into the fun stuff.
Okay.
We'll wrap it up because this seat is murder. This is brutal.
Told you I'd get you in our seat.
No, I don't. This is good. Breakfast. If you could have any breakfast in the world, what are you having? You're on vacation. You can have whatever you want.
Really odd. Probably something seafood.
Seafood for breakfast.
I eat anything, anytime.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I work second shift a lot. So,
Oh, so breakfast
is
doesn't
not really
necessarily-
breakfast
yeah.
for me. That might be my dinner that day. I don't know.
Fair enough. Seafood it is. What's the best advice you ever got?
It's kind of funny, but I worked for. They said if we have a Freon leak,
Uh-huh.
get higher.
Yeah.
Because Freon's heavier than air. So if you climb up,
Yeah.
you're safe.
Just get up higher. You'll be fine.
Oh, that's in competing with another one I had. So I was at a natural gas plant.
Uh-huh.
So if this blows up, run towards it.
Why?
The blast will go past you.
Really?
Yeah. You won't get it. You'll still get hurt, but
You're not
the
gonna
blast
get
will
as
blow through you.
Uh-huh. That's very interesting. I didn't know that. I love learning little things like that on here. What movie do you think you've seen the most?
All right, I got 2 little kids. I don't know.
You can give me anything you want. Whatever
Actually,
comes possible.
recently, Cat in the Hat
Cat in the Hat?
with Mike Myers.
Mike Myers. All right. Yeah, that works. What's your biggest fear?
Biggest fear? I hate snakes
That's, yeah.
and spiders.
Oh, spiders. I hate them.
Because we'll get jobs from other places and they'll have spiders in them. Oh, I hate that.
In the generators?
Yeah, yeah.
They just hang out. Oh, yeah. I
Well,
mean,
they ship
why
them
wouldn't
from
they?
wherever, and it's warm in there, and they make their little web.
Yeah, I think you just queered a few people away from this job. Any candy? Any candy in the world, what do you have?
All kinds of candy, but I guess my go-to would be Reese's Cup.
Reese's Cup. Classic. Childhood hero.
Man. Well, when I was playing football, I used to like Randall Cunningham a lot.
All right.
And then Tony Dorsett.
Tony
Those were
Dorsett.
the 2 main guys I liked.
There you go. What kind of soap do you use?
Any kind I buy. I don't know.
Yeah, good.
Right now
good
I
answer.
have, I think it's called something Bear Soap Company. Some little small guy, they had soap, and it has, I don't know, peach or something. So I bought that.
I was about to say a manly answer by saying no, but then you followed it up with peach.
I think it's called Bear Soap Company or something like that.
Fair enough. If someone gave your 18-year-old self $1,000, what do you think you'd do with it?
What would I do with it?
Yeah.
18-year-old self. Man, I'd probably spend half of it and invest the other half. What I would do would probably be, I don't know, I like going to see things. I'd never seen the Statue of Liberty. Maybe I'd go see that.
Yeah. That's a nice little
Invest the other
trip.
half.
Invest the other half. What about now? Someone gave you $1,000 right now. What'd you do with it?
Paid out bills.
Yeah, that seems to be the adult answer for everybody. Biggest pet peeve in general.
Negative people.
All right, double whammy. Negative people. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Probably the same place where I'm at.
Good.
I don't know. Yeah.
Job security.
I don't know.
Gotta love it. Do you have the tipping custom?
I tip fairly decent because I used to be in the tipping industry, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So a minimum of 15, unless you're just really horrendous,
Yeah.
and then it's like 10%. But you got to be really bad if I give you nothing. So I mean,
All right. What's something you'd wish you'd learned earlier?
maybe that I wasn't as strong as I am, I guess.
What does that mean?
I injured my back pretty good, so I had like back surgery.
This was in the football career?
I had a couple of times I injured my back, but my brother was actually with me on the one. Messed my back up pretty good in Nebraska, and they kept telling me to stand up straight, and I was kind of like sort of like a C, like I was bent, and they're like, stand up straight. And I'm like, I am standing up straight. I don't know what you're talking about. No, you're bent. So I had to go in and get like straightened out by a chiropractor forever, and then they told me the disc was bulging, and then I had to get surgery to get the disc back in.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Bulging disc. What'd you do to make that happen? What happened in Nebraska?
We were lifting coils.
Oh, okay.
So
this was work
The
related.
coil has an arm. It goes down and kind of curves.
Yeah.
So the guy in the front has to, when you go into the generator, because you can't get the crane into the generator, the guy in the front has to keep that clip from banging off the iron.
Yeah.
So you rotate the arm of that, and you keep your hand on the clip. Well, when you go to rotate it, the guy in the front gets all the damn weight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just happened. It was like after putting 40 of them in, my back was, nope, you're done.
Jesus, that's terrifying. Childhood celebrity crush.
I can't even think of who.
Well, something in your
celebrity
formidable
crush band.
years, just, you know.
I have no idea. I don't know. Jennifer Lopez. I don't know.
Sure.
Like,
Kinda
I don't know.
in the Fly Girl days. What's one thing you change about yourself?
Man. I don't know. I get angry pretty easily, though, I guess. I have a quick
Alright.
temper.
Quick temper. Quick temper. What's the hardest time you ever laughed?
Oh, man, that's a good one. Because there's a lot of times I crack up pretty good. Just recently, me and kid Javon at work, I forget what we were even talking about. He was talking about his kid, and I was like, I'd have a profession, and I was saying what I would do in this profession. He's like, that don't even relate, and he's just going on. I kept going through different professions, and he just thought it was comical. Just because he was laughing so bad, I just started just cracking up so bad.
That's always the best one. It's that infectious laugh. Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure. Candy, I guess.
Candy.
I eat
Yeah.
a bit of candy.
Double down on candy. What type of music do you like and why?
I listen to like all kinds of things. Anywhere from like my brother does that hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
So do that, and at work they think I'm weird because one day I'll have like hardcore like Snapcase on, the Mushroom Head, and then it'll be Daddy Yankee, that's a reggaeton,
Yeah.
to like rap to back to like pop music. What the heck?
You got a nice spectrum, but why? Why do you have
It's
any
more
reasoning?
of
or
there's certain songs I like.
Yeah.
It's not really the band. Maybe I only like 3 songs of that band, but I like them 3 songs. I like 2 songs from this guy and 1 song from them, and I mean, it don't gotta be a guy. I mean, there's women music I like too. So
Yeah. Good stuff. I like that because a lot of people say like, "Oh, I listen to everything," and it's like, "All right, thanks for that nothing answer." But I mean, truth be told, like I do listen to everything too, but it's hard to. I think you encapsulate that perfectly. It's just like I just like this one song from this guy. Or like
yeah,
this.
I don't mean I like that whole band.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
That song.
That's a great answer. What's something you're bad at?
Something I'm bad at. Measuring.
Measuring.
Fractions.
Fair enough.
Even though I measure all the time, I don't let them know that.
I'm curious about this one with you too because you have such a weird schedule. Do you have any like sleep routine? Or you just go
Sleep
home and
whenever
fall
I
over?
can.
That's the general idea is just sleep when you can.
Yeah,
That works.
no routine.
All right. If you could do anything, what would it be? Like as a job?
Used to, like, I would go back to that marketing. I want to just make TV ads and stuff.
Like literally like film them or like come up with the creative.
Come up with the creative idea of them, like the actual concept of it.
I love it. It's a great answer.
Yeah, I had some of that on our advertising at the shop.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get I had to tell the guy what I wanted, and then they kind of did like a cartoon thing of it, and it's like, I didn't want a cartoon thing, but yeah, but whatever.
All right. We'll wrap this up. You have anything else to add?
Not really.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Thanks for doing the show.
All right. Thank you.